Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Mary Grace. You're on Mary Grace Media, and I'm happy to see everybody here today. I'm broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, and we're going to get back to Cloud Hub soon. I have to change some settings there. Please share the link on social media. Glad the sound is great. Good to hear everybody. Thank you so much for the feedback. And I'm glad to be here. So I'm Mary Grace. This is Mary Grace Media. And we're here today to talk a little bit about the news and about current events and just sort of get caught up on what's happening. And I hope everybody's having a great day. We were supposed to get about 3 to 6 inches of snow here. We got about 2 inches and a little bit of icy stuff. And so I'm okay with that. I was really praying that we didn't get ice on the power lines and lose power because that, of course, is a whole different ball game. And we are nowhere near the situation that is going on in Texas. So I'm very thankful because I have my elderly dad here. And so that, of course, changes the equation. But we are in a good place right now. And I was actually thinking about going to I was thinking about going to Florida this week, but it's pretty cold in Florida, so I'm glad I didn't go. I want warm weather. So I'm just staying warm here. We're just staying warm here in the house. A lot of stuff closed in town because of the icy conditions, but for the most part, I think people are doing okay. So as you're coming in, please share this. If you're in Facebook, please send it out to groups that you belong to. And on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications. I typically go live at 5 p.m. Eastern most days. Right now, I'm going live at about 3 days a week, which is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So it's good to be back and to sort of get you guys going into your weekend. And I am praying for I'm praying for warm weather in Texas, for everything to warm up. South Florida is warm. Yeah, I don't usually go that far south. It's a long way. I like to drive, so I don't usually go as far. Mission, Texas, no snow, but unusually cold. Well, I'm glad you didn't get snow, Roger. I'm going to talk a little bit of what's going on in Texas with the power grid because I've been reading a little bit about that, and I mentioned this the other day that it was. I mentioned that the other day that it was very interesting because the person that they installed in the White House was telling everybody that we were in for a dark winter. I don't know if you remember that from the debate where he said that it was going to be a dark winter. And here we are with the biggest state, one of the biggest states in the country, with rolling blackouts. The nation's one of the nation's biggest producers of energy, and they don't have energy. Am I the only one that thinks that's strange? I don't think I am because people have been doing research on it. So, yeah, I think that it is very interesting. So, as you're coming in, remember I'm Mary Grace. This is Mary Grace Media. And one of the things I wanted to tell you before I forget is that I do have a superfoods company, and a lot of people are jumping in on a transformation program that we have, which is a 30, 60, or 90-day program. And if you write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, you can get a voucher to save $100 or more off of your first full month supply. That's 2 meal replacements a day and pretty much everything you need for those 2 meals. So it's fantastic. I've gotten so many great testimonials. People are losing weight like crazy, and they're getting in shape. Delia's in the chat here on YouTube. She's lost over 60 pounds. And so it's just a tremendous accomplishment for her. I'm very proud of her. It's very inspiring. I've had people tell me that they've had major changes in their health issues, and they weren't even looking for that really. They were just looking to lose weight. And so I think that it's pretty amazing. And so if you want to take part in that, make sure you write to me if you're looking for less inflammation, um, better sleep, better mobility, less brain fog, all of those things. So that's some really good outcomes of getting the superfoods into your body. What we have is organic, non GMO, no soy, no fillers, no binders, just a really, really good American based company that is bringing the world's best superfoods right to your door. So that's my little commercial for now. I'll come back to that at the end, but I wanted to get that in there. And so I wanted to say a little bit about uh, something that was up on the George Telegram chat. Is anybody following that? George, it's the magazine that was founded by John F. Kennedy Jr. And it's just called George. And they have a verified Telegram chat, verified Telegram channel. I think that's the only social media they're on now. Yeah, so it's very interesting, and they put up all of the communications from the they put up all the communications from the president, from the real president, and so they put up his letter about Rush Limbaugh yesterday, and they also put up a link to a prophecy that was put up a couple of prophecies that were put out by Kim Clement. I'm just going to save this link and then I'll go back to it because I want to talk about it. So, are you is my audience familiar with Kim Clement? Everybody know who that is? Let me just check here. Kim Clement was a prophet and he died in I believe 2016. Was it 2016? So he was known sometimes as the singing prophet, I think, and he played the piano and he would get these prophetic downloads from the Lord. And he got a bunch of prophecies about Trump, about the presidency. And so George posted an analysis. I'm trying to find the channel. I'll tell you one thing about Telegram that's very challenging is actually finding your channels because things skip around so fast. So let me find it here. Where are you, George? Like I don't see, there it is. Okay. So yeah, so the interesting thing is, okay, Delia, yeah, he died right after the 2016 election. So there's a guy named Trey Smith, and Trey Smith did sort of a breakdown of the Kim Clement prophecies about called it, and he called it the prophecy of two presidents. I think it's really interesting because we're actually seeing a lot of that right now. And I think that Trey Smith's analysis and breakdown of it is pretty interesting. Um, Vicky on YouTube is saying, I received confidence about Kim Clement after I watched him with Chuck Missler in an interview. That would be interesting to see that if you can find it, Vicky, if you could send it to me in an email, info@marygracemedia.com. Okay. So if you're watching me and and I'm getting frozen, somebody on Facebook is saying it's frozen, you might need to get out of your device and come back, close the app and come back. It may not be me. I think that I have a good signal here. So I think that it's worth looking at because the thing about Kim Clement is he wasn't American, he was South African. And a lot of pastors, a lot of prophets from other countries have been getting prophetic words about our elections. The whole world is watching. Obviously, everybody knows the truth about what happened here, and everybody knows that it was a complete and total travesty of justice. That justice wasn't served, and so if you've been watching me long enough, you know that I believe 100% that that this story isn't over, and I listened to the interview that President Trump did last night with Greg Kelly on Newsmax, and I think that was an interesting interview. Greg Kelly kept pressing President Trump about whether he was going to come back and do something in 2024. And so the president evaded that. He didn't give a direct answer about that, nor do I think he should have, because I think that we're not going to have to wait till 2024 to get this president back. And, everything that we thought was going to happen with the person that they installed in the White House is happening. And so that doesn't surprise me at all. It just, I don't know how long it's going to take to get resolution to this, but I don't think it's going to be through the ballot box unless there's a whole new election with a whole new system in place. But I don't think that would be a 2024 or 2022 solution. So, there's one crazy idea out there about President Trump running for Congress and then ending up being the Speaker of the House and impeaching the people that are there. And that to me seems like a huge long shot. But I think that, I think that President Trump he didn't make any noises about running in 2024. And so, he's definitely not going to disclose what it is that's happening. There's just no way. And I went on the live chat last night of my favorite live stream that happens about every other night. And I was listening, I was watching the chat, and, the same thing keeps happening. And I told you that I'm almost certain that I'm 99.9% certain that that this situation, the person is with Trump, like his right hand or second right hand or something very close to him. And so I've been taking screenshots and I've been paying attention to what they're saying. And I wanted to tell you about that because I think that they are giving us hope. Now there are some of you who think that that these sort of, you know, uh, signals are just meant to string people along, and that they're meant to give people false hope. And, there's a lot of people who, not a lot, but some people in the chat will say, we just want to see action. Why do you keep saying things like this? Oh, sure, why should we believe you? Things like that. I just, knowing what I know and having the faith that I have, I don't think it's a pipe dream. I don't think that we are looking at somebody that is a LARP, live action role play. I don't think they are putting these ideas in our heads just to string us along. And so I wanted to read you the comments that came through last night. So the first one was believe, and it was in all caps with an eagle. And okay, Roger on Facebook. There's a legal action called quo warranto that could be used against the person installed there now. Interesting. All right, next comment. Yes, believe in all caps. LARP is live action role play. LARP. Yes, believe. And then they say, and so it's funny because there are two accounts that are putting comments in the live stream. There are two verified accounts. And so they're sort of playing off of each other. And one is saying, believe. And then the other one is saying, yes, believe. And then the other one says, more than one yes, which I think is interesting because President Trump has told us, that the best is yet to come. And the other one says, I believe. So believe, yes, believe, more than one yes, I believe. So there's just a lot of kind of cheerleading in the chat. And then this, the song that plays in this video is it's the same video over and over. Minnie, have you been watching this live chat? I'm not giving the name of the live stream in my feed because I don't want it to get shut down. And so uh, I think Delia knows. So Roxanne, you can ask her. I think she'll give you the link. Um, I just want to be careful about that because I really want I don't want this live chat to go away. I know that Trump will be back. Okay, so the next thing they said, so the same video plays for the live chat every time they run it. It's the same video with the same song. And the song is the Battle Hymn of the Republic. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Anyway, it's a version of that. And so it plays it plays over the video and there's highlights of the president's time in office. And so in the chat, this is what the person says. The person says, "This is my president's all-time favorite hymn. My president." To me, that is a very strong sign. This person is not acknowledging any other president, nor am I. And this person is in a position, the person that I believe is doing the chat here is in a position to make that statement unequivocally. Okay. Okay. So they said something interesting. So they're broadcasting from Trump Tower. They put their location before they start, and then you have about 30 seconds to screenshot it. And so so they said, I have a few colleagues here for a late work meeting. You guys are here in the background, and then a heart. And then they said, then they put, "Hi there, from a friend of George, friend 1." And then they said, "Hey Patriots," from friend 2, which I thought was cute. 3 of us in New York City at the moment. And then next thing, "You have not been abandoned. A new season is coming. You have not been abandoned. A new season is coming." Now, the other night, this person made reference to the Kim Clement prophecy of the two terms, and they said, yes, the prophecy will be fulfilled. And now they're talking about a new season, and the Kim Clement prophecy refers to the seasons. So I encourage you to go listen to that. I put it in my Telegram. So it's Trey Smith, The Two Presidents on YouTube. So this is getting very interesting. And then it says, "A promise made by the GOAT, GOAT, greatest of all time, is a promise kept." You remember I told you President Trump is not a liar. He makes promises and he keeps his promises. And he actually kept more promises than he made. And he even said that. So I just think it's very interesting. And then this person says, "Our best days are still ahead of us," in all caps. Our best days are still ahead of us. Mary Grace, I put that link to the Chuck Missler interview. Will you be able to get it? Did you put it in the chat, Vicky? Maybe. Are you on my Telegram chat? Are you in the private chat? I think Trey Smith is really good. He knows a lot of history and archaeology. And then the next comment they put is, "God bless you all. WRWY, we are with you." And then in parentheses, "always." I don't know if I can get the link. I think I can. I might be able to. And then they put, at 12:32 a.m., they put 3 plus marks, like crosses, 3 crosses. Fred in Facebook says Trey knows what is going on. I believe that too. I believe that too because I believe that Trey is actually very close friends of the person that is posting in this live chat. Actually, I know that because the person said it in in another comment thread. When somebody told them about Trey, this person said that they were friends with Trey. So I think Trey is dialed in. It's pretty incredible. Uh, the other thing that they posted the other day was an interview, a link to a sermon by Todd White, and Todd White was basically saying stand your ground, and he was saying, you know, why he was saying anybody that would vote for a candidate that kills babies, you know, especially as a Christian, anybody that would vote for that is in direct opposition to God's will, which I believe. That was a good sermon, the Todd White. And then the person puts an eagle, and that was the last. And then they said promise, all caps, promise, dot dot dot. 3 dots, promise. So um I think that's highly significant because and these live stream chats are being posted once every other day. I think there was one last night. I have a feeling there'll be one tomorrow night. I hope. The suspense is crazy. It's like you're in the chat and you're sitting there in the chat and you're going, okay, what are they going to tell you next? So if you go to my Telegram, Mary Grace Media Official, I do post the links to those as soon as I find out about them. Sometimes they post a link and they leave the chat room open earlier in the day so people can go in and chat, and then they tell you what time they're going to start the live stream, what time they're going to start the broadcast. It's usually like 11:50. It was like 11:55 p.m. Eastern last night. So you have to stay up late, which I usually do, but I was super tired. So hold on just a second. I need to answer a text. Okay. So I hope that's encouraging for you. This is, to me, I'm extremely encouraged, and what we're seeing around the country, in my opinion, is extremely difficult to watch because we're just seeing the evil play out in a big way, and it's very sad. It's very sad to see. It's very sad to see that anybody thinks that this is a better solution to Orange Man. And that's really what the media would have you believe, this is a better solution, but they all know, and they know that you know what is going on is just absolutely ridiculous, and that the person that is installed in that place isn't even running anything. I mean, we've already seen that Kamala is making calls to heads of state, which is a 100% absolute breach of protocol. And you know, when remember when remember how the whole Russia investigation started, right? That General Flynn, you know, got in big trouble. Hold on a second. For supposedly breaking protocol, right? I mean, what she's doing is way worse than anything uh, that General Flynn supposedly did. He was actually acting within protocol. That whole thing was just a setup. So I think that Vicky says it won't be long until they try the big switch. I agree. I agree. But remember, President Trump said the they were trying to pull the 25th Amendment on him, and then he said to Joe, "Be careful what you wish for," right? Because they're gonna. I mean, we've known this all along. We've known all along that that's what they're gonna do. And I remember, this is kind of ironic. This is, now that you think about it. Does anybody know what day Joe announced his candidacy? Does anybody know that little factoid? I think it's actually coming into play here, because this is how numbers are big to them. Numbers are important to them. If you go back and look at the news or the FEC filings, does anybody know that? It's a little bit of trivia that I know because I was studying the FEC filings, which is, sometimes I do that. I geek out on it. Okay, wait for this. So we're pretty sure they're going to try to get him out based on the 25th Amendment, which is mental incapacity. So he declared his candidacy, yeah, on the 25th of April, 2019. Isn't that interesting? Now that we know, knowing what we know. And I knew from the minute that he announced that he wasn't the real person. I mean, I actually had a I actually had a I actually had a whole conversation with somebody as soon as as soon as he announced. I laid it all out. I said, "Look, this is the plan." I said they're going to run him and they're probably going to seat him as the president, but he's not their guy. He's just their placeholder. That is literally the conversation I had, like, in the weeks after he announced. It's amazing, isn't it? God shows me a lot of things, and I've been watching this and paying attention to it long enough that it all starts to make sense. And I think more people are getting that revelation. I think the more you understand about how they function and how they operate, the more you get that revelation, and the pieces come together more quickly. Do you feel that way as somebody that's been following this for a while? Do you feel like you start to see right through their plans? And that's the beautiful thing, especially, when you have godly insight and wisdom, is that, God shows us, and he has actually revealed to us so much of what they do. And then the other thing is that anytime somebody is anytime somebody is operating from a place of evil, one of the biggest stumbling blocks that they have is pride. And so their pride actually is a big liability for them, because they just can't stop themselves. They can't stop themselves from telling you what they're doing. They show it. They're so brazen. They put it right out there. And so I just think it's very interesting that they're not making any, they don't have any qualms about showing us exactly what it is that they're doing. And so, you know, now that we know, now that we see everything that happens, we see it through a completely different lens than we saw 5 years ago. Do you feel that way? Have you noticed that every single thing that happens, every single bit of news, every action, every announcement, it used to be that you would just you would hear the news, and then it would be like a little blip on the screen, and then you would just go on with your day. Now, I feel like when I hear news about something, especially something that's a little bit noteworthy, I find myself uh, sort of, digging deeper and questioning the narrative and going, is that really what happened? Huh. I mean, as soon as I heard about blackouts in Texas, I just, my spidey senses were tingling, and I was going, rolling blackouts in Texas? Really? Is that normal? Right? And whereas, a while back, it wouldn't you would have just gone, oh, they're having rolling blackouts in Texas. So I just think it's interesting, and more people are waking up. And one of the things that I tell people, as you deal with normies, is just to to ask them questions. And so because when you start asking questions, it 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 it's one of the things that helps wake them up. And so, you ask, okay, so if Texas is one of the largest producers of energy in the world, how is it that they're having rolling blackouts during this crisis? How come they can't um, get power to their people? Here's another thing. If this person that they installed in the White House is the most popular president ever in the history of our country, how come he's not in Texas right now? How come he didn't fly to Texas and go to a shelter to talk to the people and to hand out food, to hand out blankets, to whatever? I mean, has he deployed any shelters? Like, what's the so-called president doing? Where is he? Because my president would have been in Texas last weekend preparing. I mean, right? Does anybody? And so these are the questions you ask your normie friends. So why isn't he down there? What is he doing? Is the Red Cross down there? Um, is he on TV announcing everything that he's doing for Texas? And this is serious because do you remember how much, you remember how bad it was, how bad Katrina was on W? Do you remember that on Baby Bush? Do you remember that was really devastating for his presidency, and um, that whole thing really, really was a huge problem, a huge debacle. In my opinion, this is worse, and nobody's down there. It's like nothing's happening, you know. And then I saw the George Channel posted a video by Disney. It was a Disney video from the 50s about how they were manipulating weather. Did you guys see that video? I think I talked about it the other day. And so you look at what's happening in you look at what's happening in has he made an appearance regarding Texas? That's a good question. I don't think he has, Greg, on YouTube. So you look at what's happening with the weather. And you look at that video that was posted on George about how they could manipulate weather and seed the clouds and everything. This is another one of those things where, 5 years ago, if somebody had told me that that they could that they could that they could manipulate the weather like that, I would have just said, that's a little too far out there. That's a little bit wackadoodle. And now that this person is posting that video, I'm just thinking, oh, this is a legitimate news organization and it's being run by somebody that I think that I trust implicitly. And I'm thinking they're putting up a video from the 50s about Disney manipulating weather. And I'm just thinking, well, if that was done in the 50s and here we are in the 21st century, like, huh, maybe it wasn't so weird after all. Isn't that, it's crazy, isn't it? And then I started thinking because the whole point of everything that's happening right now, just so we're clear, is to destroy America and put America in third world status. Is everybody clear on that? That all of the plans, everything that was done with the scamdemic, everything that was done with, getting people out of work, destroying the economy, having all of these events that put people in a place of dependence on the government, that was all about creating a dependent society and pushing America into third world status. That is what that's what they started under Hussein. That's why, people were working 2 and 3 jobs, and that's why Obamacare destroyed the insurance plans of everybody and made it so that people had to go on the gig economy, and nobody could spend any time with their families, and nobody could afford anything, much less a mortgage. Nobody could own anything. That was intentional. You realize that, right? And so I started thinking about this. I was thinking about, the whole point of everything that they've been doing is the whole point about everything is to destroy America and to push us into third world status, and to create dependence, to create a serfdom, so that you have the elites and then you have the serfs who don't own anything. I mean, the UN and the globalists are pushing propaganda, saying, you will own nothing and you'll be happy about it and you'll love it. And they're pushing people away from property rights. One of the things that one of the things that separates America, and that's a hallmark of our Constitution, is property ownership, because the feudal system of Europe was the opposite of that. If you've watched Downton Abbey, for example, you know that the lord of the manor owned the property. Everybody else in those little houses and in the village paid rent to the property owner. That's what they want for you and me. They want you to own nothing. That doesn't mean that everything you get is for free. That means that you don't own property and you pay somebody else for the privilege of working their property. You become a sharecropper. That's the whole plan here. And, that's why they want to push everybody to cities. You've noticed that, right? They push everybody into urban areas. So bring that back around to Katrina. Bring it back around to what we know now about the fact that they can manipulate the weather. And I didn't even think about this. I never even entertained this idea, but it's just starting to make more sense to me now, because if you can create those kinds of catastrophes that devastate people's lives and that put the government in charge, if you can do it with weather, if you can do it with bio weapons, if you can do it with germs, right? Now, all they're doing is they're just controlling everybody through fear. That's what this entire um, whole face diaper thing is, right? It's all controlling people through fear. Yeah. And so I think that what we really need to focus on is, our nation is at a turning point. It's at a critical point, and I believe that there's actually going to be I believe that there's actually going to be um, a great awakening spiritually. That we are in that place. That we are coming into the third great awakening. I think that we're going to have revival at a level that we're going to have revival at a level that is completely unexpected, that nobody was ever expecting. And this is part of the dream that I had, is that when the president comes back, uh, there's just going to be celebration in the streets. But I think that a lot of people are also going to be coming to faith. They're going to be coming to Jesus, and it's going to be a Christian revival in the nation, in the world. Um, so somebody on YouTube is saying that Trey Smith's channel is called God in a Nutshell. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. So God in a nutshell. Uh, Dutch Sheet says 1 billion soul harvest. Yeah. So I think this is the even bigger outcome of what's happening here. And as hard as it is to see the the devastation that's taking place right now, I think that the flip side of that is going to be even more glorious. And that's what's so beautiful, is that it's just going to be amazing. And I do believe that's what's coming. I want to get to what I was talking about with with the whole thing in Texas, because somebody did some research on it, and this is uh, this is something somebody did some research about what this person in the White House did on the first day in office with an executive order. So I'm just going to read this to you, and this person posts some links, but I'm just going to read it. Okay, this is a person called June, and I don't know this person, but the research seems pretty solid. They said something. Let me get this right here. They said something is not sitting right with me with Texas, and it's not just the weather. Uh, Look at the comments here. All right. I mean, it really bothers me. These millions of Texas families are suffering. I couldn't sleep actually. So I woke up this morning, made coffee, and got to researching. I started pulling Biden's EOs this morning, and I found something buried in the Keystone Pipeline EO way towards the end of the document. It turns out that the same day Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline, he also lifted the security on our power grid for 90 days. I'm going to say that again. He also lifted the security on our power grid for 90 days. Trump's EO the year prior secured our power grid by giving China no access. This is significant. Here below is the snippet buried in Biden's Keystone Pipeline EO. It's Executive Order 13920 of May 1st, 2020, securing the United States bulk power system, is hereby suspended for 90 days. The Secretary of Energy and the Director of OMB shall jointly consider whether to recommend that a replacement order be issued. Okay, so just a small little paragraph tucked away in one of Biden's EOs the first day he was in office under the umbrella of, quote, restoring science to tackle the climate crisis. And they post a link to this. I'll post it on my Telegram wall. So this is interesting. And then it says, so I researched our energy transformers that supply our power grid. Do you remember me talking about this? This is part of President Trump's infrastructure push, that he was securing our power grid from from foreign actors. This is a big deal. This is so when we're talking about 5G, that's another thing. I shouldn't have said that on YouTube. That thing. This is part of that. Okay. So in May 1st, okay, they said it turns out we had 0 transformers in this country that were manufactured in that other country prior to 2009. From 2009 to 2019, that country has manufactured 200 of our transformers, supplying 60% of our power grid. 60%. I wonder who, 2009. Oh, yeah. Who was in office then? Think about it. Yeah. Who was controlling Congress then? Oh, Republicans. Now we know. Uniparty. Okay. The United States, this is what the president's order said. The United States should no longer purchase transformers and other electric grid equipment manufactured in that country. He signaled that it is important to end relationships that U.S. utilities have directly with those businesses. I'm talking about a foreign country. I'm not saying the word here. And multinational companies manufacturing transformers in that country, which are later plugged into the electric grid of the United States. This is the same thing we're dealing with everything: food, transportation, goods and services, everything. We don't want them from there anymore. That equipment can be embedded with software and hardware that can be remotely accessed, enhancing that country's ability to commit cyber attacks. Because power transformers are huge and weigh between 100 and 400 tons, it is not easy to identify embedded software or hardware. There are also potential hardware risk since counterfeit items can easily be put into larger power transformers. And then they put a link to the president's executive order, which is on the 5th, May 4th, 2020. You can go on the Federal Register and see that. This is astonishing, isn't it? What prompted Trump's executive order was this prior report right here. The Department of Energy found in this report that there were 6 U.S. power manufacturers, 30 power transformer manufacturers from the other country. 6 in the U.S., 30 in the other. Now, those of you who have not understood where President Trump was coming from when he was talking about having things manufactured in America, it was for our national security. It wasn't just so that he could stick it to another country and be racist and not and have your tennis shoes made in America. It wasn't just about that. It was about good to see you, Rich. Thank you for being here on Facebook. And so it was about this, okay? Uh, so it says the most recent projects were completed, and so this is one of the 30 power grids. Most recent projects were completed in, wait for it, Houston, Las Vegas, New Jersey. If you look up Electric Panda, you will wonder why in the heck this isn't front page news now with Texas. Conclusively, Biden, on his first day in office, opened up the American electrical grid to, you guessed it, that country. His very first day in office, 3 weeks later, 5 million are without power and struggling to keep their families warm, and many livestock are unable to survive the emergent conditions caused by my power and limited water. So I'm going to put this in my on my Telegram right now, on the official Mary Grace Media official. So this is significant. And the yeah. So one of the things that is so true about these people is that they always tell us what they're going to do. So unlike President Trump, who doesn't announce his plans, these people do tell us. And Biden told us that they had the most sophisticated election hacking software plan ever. And so what did they do? They stole the election. And then on the very first day in office, he told us that he was going to turn over our infrastructure. Remember, infrastructure is not just roads, it's the power grid. All of that, he was going to turn all of that over to those people, those foreign actors, the election, the power grid, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you tell me, based on what we know, because again, this is an attack on our sovereignty. Just be very clear about that. MG in YouTube is saying, read NSA tweet yesterday regarding 40 days and Easter. Okay, I'm going to read that. NSA. Okay. Yeah, so this is an attack on our sovereignty, and I think that it's so important to understand. General MCLN said this 2 nights ago. Are you talking about General McInerney? Oh, okay. The weather warfare. Yeah. So I think that, he told us what he was going to do. But here's the thing. This is an attack on our sovereignty, just like what happened with the elections is an attack on our sovereignty. And I've said this from the very start. I really, truly believe that not only does our president have an obligation to protect our nation from a foreign attack, but he actually the military has an obligation. And so I truly believe that this is far from over. Do you guys hear the cat? Do you hear Barley? Hold on, let me see if I can get him. He's right behind me. Do you want to see him? He's on the little stool behind me. Hold on, let me see if I can show him. Do you see him? See him down there? Isn't he cute? He he has his own little stool in the studio. But so just lighten up the mood a little bit. So yeah, so this is an attack on our sovereignty. The bottom line is I'm with, the people who are saying uh the people who are saying that um okay, I just showed Barley. I just lifted up the camera, so you might have to rewind. But yeah, the people who are saying that the military has to be involved, I do think they are. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I find it hard to believe that our country would be would be surrendered this way. I think that if you follow Andrea Joy, I think Andrea Joy was saying that one of the that one of the part of the strategy here is that what's happening in Texas is allowed to be played out to show the people what life is like without our president and with these other people running the show. Um, and that she may be right about that. I don't know. I mean, I find it hard to believe that. Well, I don't know. I just, would they let this much devastation occur? Some of the things you can't control. You can't. You can't. You can't control everything that the other side does. I think that we, I think that we know a lot in advance. I think that our white hats have known that this was coming. And so what is the answer? How is it going to play out? I don't know exactly, but I do think that the solution is coming. And so I want you guys to hang in there because we're at war and President Trump is a wartime president. And so the solution isn't as easy and cut and dried and quick as a lot of people would want it to be. But the more we see about what is really happening and who these people are. I mean, they show us more every single day. We see more of the evil every day from these people. And so I don't think it's an accident that we're seeing this. It's sinister, it's evil, it's cruel, it is it's the opposite of everything that America stands for. I don't think it's forever. So hold the line, be in prayer, be vigilant, be a watchman, and be the person that is confident about what is to come. And make sure you're following my Telegram official because I will post links like this on there so that you can stay informed. And I'm going to keep broadcasting. So you guys think Texas is getting punished? Yeah, that could be what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, I mean these people aren't going to stop, Um they're not going to stop. So, yeah. And for the people who are saying that they're not seeing any action, I don't know what to say to you because, you know, because what's the solution that's coming? If I could tell you what was going to happen, then the whole world would know. I think people are going to be in for a pretty big surprise when they see how this is resolved because Anybody that thinks that President Trump just walked away and gave up and turned over everything to the deep state and is going to subject his family to literally persecution, because that's what these people will do. If you think that nothing is going to happen, um, I I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to tell you the plan. They're not going to tell me the plan. Uh, yeah, MG on YouTube is saying, that if you think that this is bad, look at Venezuela. And one of the things that I really want to encourage people, if you haven't figured it out yet, they're not going to come out and tell you that you can take those face coverings off. They're not going to stop. Um, People need to take back your freedom. Stop. I'm in a state that has a mandate. I'm in a state that has a mandate. I leave my house every day without it on. I go to the store without it on. I mean, my state has an outdoor mandate. You're supposed to wear one outside. Not going to do it. Never going to. Never did. Never will. So take back your freedom. They're not going to reverse these mandates. I told you that in the very beginning, when they first did this. Because once you give away a freedom, look at the Patriot Act. For how many years have you been taking your clothes off just to get on an airplane to go through security? That was because of what? Somebody that supposedly had a box cutter on a plane. And then somebody in one airport one time had something in their shoes. Now you got to take your shoes off, right? Your governor said he promises it's going away and that we'll be back to normal. Interesting. The crazy thing is the people that, when you talk about, that the shot that people are wanting to take, I think in general, people need to get healthy. That I think people are spending a little too much time worrying about that shot and not enough time worrying about their own health, their own nutrition, the food that they're eating, because that's a big problem. We have a lot of toxins and pesticides in our food supply. I mean, I was talking to somebody recently that is, Greg, I question that too. I was talking to somebody that was that does industrial farming, and the spouse works the farm and sprays Roundup all day long on the crops, and the crops are fed to the livestock, and those livestock are food. And so think about what you're eating. You're eating food that's laced with meat. You're eating meat that's laced with Roundup, which is a pesticide that doesn't get out of your body. It's a carcinogen. Did you know that? That's why I do superfoods. I don't know if you know that. So that's one of the reasons that I have superfoods. And growing your food is great. Yeah. My one of my superfoods experts, she grows her food year round in Hawaii. But the crazy thing is, about 90% of her diet is our superfoods because it's so much easier and the nutrients are just absolutely packed into the food. Laura on Facebook, you just got over the Rona, just like when you get the flu. I'm glad you got over it. That's good. I hope you're feeling better. Get some superfoods and build back your body. Yeah, we have a detox, a glyphosate detox in our superfoods protocol. That's the one reason that a lot of people like it. Yeah, glyphosate is deadly. Tiny on YouTube. You should message me. Yeah, check out what we have. It gets we have a patented product that gets glyphosate out of your body. That's why people like it. So yeah, so that's why I love the superfoods. So message me and get a voucher so that you can save like $100 off your superfoods transformation. How much weight has Greg Harvey lost? You guys, Greg Harvey is doing this. He wanted to lose 75 pounds. I think he's over at least over 25 pounds now. So pretty cool. But yeah. Yeah, Teresa, you should just get the transformation combination because it all works together. It's really powerful. It's really good. So I'm going to sign off, but I'll be back on Monday at 5 Eastern. So message me. I forgot to give you the email address. I'm reading the chats. Info at marygracemedia.com. Info at marygracemedia.com. Send me a message so that you can get on these superfoods. And because, we have to take back our own health. And this is one of the easiest ways to do it. It's just so easy. Luann has said, I've been living on superfoods this week in Houston, no power or lights. That's great. That's so awesome. Our superfoods are shelf stable, you guys. And it's just amazing. We won't have a food shortage, we'll have a nutrition shortage. That's a good point, Roger. That's why our superfoods, you're actually getting the best most nutrient dense foods for the dollar when you buy the superfoods. That's why I love it. So um so message me, info at marygracemedia.com. Get your body healthy. And I will be back on Monday. I will be back on Monday and at the same channel, Facebook, YouTube. I'm going to try to get my Cloud Hub up and running, and it's Mary Grace Media. So thank you everybody for being here. I've enjoyed listening to your chat, reading your chat today, and thank you to everybody that's been helping me with all the tech stuff. I appreciate that a lot. Oh, also, if you want to partner with me on the show, you can go to marygracemedia.com and click on support. So when you buy superfoods, it actually benefits me. I do get a commission from that. Uh, and but also you can just do a direct partnership through Venmo or through another support link that I have on there. Some people do a monthly thing, so thank you everybody that does that. And I will be back on Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern. Have a great weekend, everybody, and please stay warm and please pray for our friends in Texas. Um, I'm the female praying medic. They're so awesome. Thank you. I will see everybody soon. Have a great weekend.